So I've been doing this tech YouTube thing for a long time. Even for actually trying and doing this as a daily routine, it's been close to 5 years. It's been fun and I love growing this little community with you guys, but the one thing that has been getting a bit old is video editing. I used to love editing. It was the one way I could really transform what I filmed and actually make into a cohesive thing, but it has been getting really repetitive, cutting the A-roll, inserting the B-roll, adding text, finding music, etc. That's why over the last year or so, I've been finding all kinds of ways to make my video editing more efficient and shorter so I don't get burned out. And one of the things that's been really helping me out is this cool little macropad, the Framer Creator Micro. If you didn't already know, Framer is an aesthetic no-code website builder, but their whole mission is basically just making the creative process better and suck less for designers and creators, which is exactly why they partnered with Work Louder to create hardware like this. Framer is sponsoring this video and they did provide me with one of these, but this little keypad has made my video editing so much more efficient that it's honestly been a breath of fresh air for my video editing workflow. For any of you creatives out there, whether it's photo editing, graphic design, or vibe coding, you'll want to stay and check this one out. So just to set the baseline, this thing is super straightforward. It's a keypad that you can fully personalize and map macros or shortcuts to speed up whatever workflow you have going on. It works with Type-C wired or Bluetooth wireless for connecting to your device. There's this little touch sensor to quickly switch between Bluetooth pairing so you can have multiple devices paired at the same time. It basically works with any operating system too, including Mac, Windows, iOS, and Android. There's 13 mechanical keys. You can easily pop and swap these out. Framer includes 31 icon keycaps in the box along with a bunch of blank colors if you want to keep it looking more minimal. On the left side, there's this physical dial that clicks and even this tiny 2D joystick that prompts a radial menu. Now, just like the keys, these things are mappable to whatever you need. Really, the best part about this experience is how easy it is to map all your macros and shortcuts here. Before I got this thing delivered, I was a little bit intimidated because I didn't want to deal with any complicated software or coding for mapping macros, but thankfully the input configurator software is just clicking a few squares around. It's really super easy to use. For a complete newbie like me, everything was really straightforward with all the keys being visually shown. You can map your own custom macros and shortcuts by manually finding the keys or just by recording the keys you press on your keyboard. You can even have multi-actions per key, so for example, one press for one action and double press for another. If you don't want to deal with customizing everything yourself, you can also just use these presets that are available for a bunch of the mainstream creative tools. I used the DaVinci preset to get started and personalized it for my own workflow, so there are even easier ways to get this done. For me, this will just be a dedicated tool for my DaVinci Resolve workflow, but for those of you using multiple tools and software, you can also have multiple layers with different mappings per layer, so you can use a micro for multiple workflows if you wanted. In the backend, the micro also has support for AppSense. This detects what software you're currently using and then automatically changes the presets to match whatever you're doing, so that's convenient too. All of this comes in this playful, compact design with RGB backlights. It's all very techy while looking sleek, so I like the look and fits my desk setup pretty well. Plus, it's actually built really well too. This is CNC aluminum on the top here. The keys have POM, POK, MX style switches, and I love how clicky they are. The joystick is also fun to fidget with, and the dial is nice and tactile. The bottom base is this grippy material, so it's going to be firm on your desk without sliding around, which is pretty important for something of this size. So that's the micro, and here's how I set it up. My main issue with video editing on a regular keyboard and why it took longer than it should was that there were too many hotkeys, too many buttons far away from each other, and I'm prone to tapping on keys I don't want to. So as a solution, I dedicated all the keys here to all the things I need to do in a video editing environment. So I put my basic left shift and left option keys on the bottom left corner and the backspace key on the top right corner, just like a regular keyboard squished into this square. These are essential for deleting or selecting multiple items and zooming in and out of my timeline. I also have this key here dedicated for the blade and selector, one press for the blade tool and 2 presses for the selector tool. I also marked in and marked out for these 2 keys on the right. All these shortcuts are dedicated for cutting down, which takes up majority of my editing time, especially for the A-roll for my videos. Then I have the save button here right on top of my cutting tools because I've had some traumatic experiences of losing everything, so I do tend to make sure to save every single change I make. Also, I make a ton of mistakes while editing, so I have this key here, 1 press for undo and 2 for redo. To navigate the timeline, I use a combo of my mouse and also the dial here. I map this to track my timeline for smaller refinements, and the joystick is just reserved for switching between the different editing pages, including the color, sound, and export pages. Those are basically like my most important keys and mappings. I do have some other buttons like this one for my project settings, this one for opening the inspector, and these 2 on the bottom right for play pause and for previewing when I'm mostly done with my edits. But yeah, this is like a mini version of my full keyboard, but only to the things I need for video editing. So yeah, I can basically use just this micro and my mouse for my entire video editing process, which is super efficient. While I do most of my editing at home on a desk with my Mac Mini, sometimes I do need to take my editing on the go at a hotel for some event, a cafe, or something else outside. Thankfully, the Micro is super tiny and light. It's really easy to just pop this in the bag and easily use this with your laptop keyboard and touchpad. So even when I leave the desk, I get a pretty essential speed boost just from having the Micro on hand. So yeah, that's everything I need to say about the Framer Creator Micro. Even though this is a sponsored video, I'm really glad I got to try this out because I didn't think that there was a hardware solution to speed up my video editing workflow. Let me know in the comments how you would use the Micro if you had one. If you're interested in speeding up your video editing or whatever creative project you're working on, definitely go check out the Micro using the link below. Thanks so much to Framer for sponsoring this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.